What's good, YouTube? Underworld 6667 here. I'm doing yet another episode of the long-awaited Yu-Gi-Oh 101. Now, I know I told you guys that I was going to show you guys my binder as far as what I've picked up, but I haven't really finished all the cards that I've traded or got or all that kind of stuff re-sequenced in the binder so it actually looks presentable because, you know, there's a lot of trading that I've been doing, trying to make sure that this segment takes off. In this segment, I'm actually going to be talking about something that most people don't see as a plus, don't see as a thing to do, and that's respecting the vendors. Now, the vendors, by what I mean by vendor, is the guys who actually are there, who are supposed to be there, who are buying, trading, and selling at a booth. I also want to mention the fact that you need to respect the vendors that are there as quote-unquote players. Now there's some pros and some cons with regards to vendors, but I'd like to mention two vendors. One we've been dealing with for a very, very long time, and this is mainly for the people in the GTA, and that of course is Teddy and Me in Brampton and Mississauga, which is in the Greater Toronto area, which is Ontario, which is in Canada. So if you're in Florida, unless you're coming down for a random trip, this is probably not for you. However, we also met another store that gave us pretty good prices, and one of our fans was actually working at the booth at Nationals, and that's Crimson Castle Games. They're at 626 15th Street in Tuscaloosa. I think that's Alabama. I'm not entirely sure. What I'm going to do, I actually have a card of theirs. There we go. I have a card of theirs. Let's see if I can bring it up all the way to the camera here. So you've got the telephone number, you've got the address there, you've got the website, so you can always check them out, as well as, once again, if you're in the GTA, you can check out teddyandme.com for tournament updates. They've got lots of stuff that's going on around, you know, the summertime. I'm pretty sure Crimson Castle, I haven't checked out their website just yet. I haven't really had time because of, you know, doing so many parodies and all that kind of stuff. By the way, I have some more coming out. Depending on how many likes I get on the next couple of videos that I post. Yes. Anyway, being a like whore is not good. What I've done, what I actually have gotten accomplished, and this is kind of sad, is I actually have updated both my secret rare binders. So I've got this very small, like, very unthick, yellow one, which pretty much just has those two pages, and then that's it. And then this entire pink, sort of red pinkish binder is completely full with every possible secret rare. So that's what I have been doing with my time. I know, what a waste, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip through this binder and hopefully talk to you guys about vendors and Yu-Gi-Oh 101. So if you don't like the Yu-Gi-Oh 101 segment, you can completely shut off the sound and just watch the binder flip. Or if you like the Yu-Gi-Oh 101 and don't want to watch a binder, then close your eyes and let the sultry sound of Underworld 6667 take you away. Wow, super gay. Anyway, so what I would like to talk to you about is vendors. Okay, let's start off with the pros and cons of at convention vendors, the guys who actually have the booths that are set up. Number one, you know where they are all the time. Number two, their prices are usually spot on. They are by eBay pricing. They are what you probably should be going off of that day, because they need to make a little bit of overhead. And they understand the fact that, you know, what they're selling you can't generally get from the event that you're there if they're going to try and get it off of eBay. Now, at the con vendors are usually not willing to make deals except on large product buying. Because, you know what? They have a strict buying policy, and that's how they stay in business. However, once again, another pro for these guys is they will have a lot more objective purchasing and objective selling. You're not going to have to go through an entire binder of Garbaggio secrets. You're going to be able to go through and say, hey, I need this card, and they'll be able to go whoop whoop, and it's in your hand. And there's the price. Have fun with the price, guys. This is once again just a collection binder that I have been collecting for a little bit. I have a new collection that I've been starting, and hopefully you guys can help me out. If you can't, you can't. I'm not looking to overpay for these things because most of it is just a collection here to collect dust. So I'm not going to pay like $20 a card, $15 a card, because none of these cards in here are going to be $15. Anyway, so these vendors, they're looking to make their overhead, and as long as you respect that, that's fine. One of the pros also, vendors have power. Vendors can kick you out of the event. You piss off a vendor, you could be banned from Yu-Gi-Oh! That's not going to really help you sell. Becoming friends, or at least having a decent relationship and a decent respect level for the vendors at the event is very important. If you're going to tread on their business, they're going to kick you out. I've done it at Anime North recently, which is a huge anime convention in Toronto. Over like 20,000 people, 30,000 people, all dressed as anime people go there. I was one of the vendors. Some guy was selling, and I always have a thing. I'm not dumb, so I know when people are selling. I'm not dumb, so I know the sly moves that everyone tries. But I respect the fact that you at least tried to hide it. I mean, I do it at events, so I can't really complain. However, this D-bag sells in front of me, looks at me while he's selling, finishes the transaction. When I walk over to him, I'm like, don't sell. He goes, I wasn't selling. I'm like, you douchebag, at least admit it and say sorry. Get out of my event. So I kicked him out of the event. It was just that easy. I have no respect for people who deny it when I obviously catch them. Even when people catch me, I'm like, you know what? Sorry, I'm trying to make a living, you know. Trying to make sure that you get some of the profit, because that's one of the things that I do is I go to vendors, and if the vendor has decent pricing and I can make maybe only 10%, that's fine. I'm still supporting the vendors enough that I'm not going to be on their bad side, being just the guy who comes in, rips off people, and then sells later. That's not what I'm trying to do. When you burn bridges like that, it becomes very difficult, especially in this kind of a game. Anyway, so let's continue on with our vendor discussion. Vendors at a table, they will have large selection of cards, whereas vendors around will have whatever they have. Vendors at tables will stockpile 10 of each card. Vendors around, like myself, probably will have maybe a play set of 3. So if you're looking for mass quantities because you think the card is going to be really good, and this is where some of this collection came in, you probably want to go to a vendor. They'll give you a good price if you take as many as you can. And if it's not, you know, the fast selling card that it is. So let's go on with the around the cuff vendors. Now I'm gonna say 90% of the around the cuff vendors are there to make fast dollars and rip off as many people as possible. Not so much as rip off as in sell you at a rip off price, but they'll buy at way too little and possibly sell way too high. I used to do it back when I was a jerk. I've tapered down quite a bit. By the way, I love my signatures. I promised that I'd show you guys the signatures. As you see, Greg Abby's are all up here. This is Kaiba's. Another Greg Abby with a Shooting Star Ultimate. Another Greg Abby with a Stardust Dragon Just a Super. And then you got the Ghost. Kaiba with the Obelisk. Joey with the Japanese Jinzo. And of course, you got Red Eyes Black Dragon signed by Joey as well. Anyway, so the around the cuff vendors are very, very difficult to deal with because their cards are not priced. By the way, vendors at a table, cards are priced. They can't screw you over because you need something. They can't up the bid for you and then lower the bid for somebody who is you know, their friends or whatever. So off-the-cuff vendors, when it comes to, you know, trading and buying and selling, you have to really, really know what you're doing and really, really know why you're doing it before you can do it. In a lot of cases, the only reason I would go to an off-the-cuff vendor is if I did not have the card and I guarantee had another buyer. There's no other reason I would go to an off-the-cuff vendor unless I had a guaranteed sell and I knew I was making money off of it. Because it's just dumb if you're just buying from a vendor trying to be a vendor. Anyway, that's one of the reasons why, you know, a lot of people have offered me money for the binders, but there are other vendors. I'm like, I can make that profit anyway, and I'm not looking to quit anytime soon. So why would I sell you my binder at 50%, 60% when I could be making 90 in a fast sell? Well, 80 to 90 in a fast sell, or 100% to 120% in a slow sell. So yeah, there's no real point. I think this is the last page, by the way, so you can stop worrying about me stopping and commenting on pages like this. Anyway, so vendors are very important. Like I said, it's, once again, off-the-cuff vendors, I don't really, I respect, because you can't, you know, walk into an off-the-cuff vendor's trade or sell and start selling your own stuff. They'll make your life a living hell, because I've done it, because I hate when people do that. However, if you're being a douchebag, completely and utterly taking all this kid's time because he doesn't want to trade his Hornet for your Rhoda, I'm going to step in because you're just wasting my time, just making me sit there for one of the Hornets. Anyway, so I would say table vendors are the people you want to make friends with. They'll let you know on pricing. They'll let you know on, you know, things that they viewed as, you know, the next big thing or the next big card or the next big set. Something that they've heard at their locals or something like that. Something that you can use as your own advice or your own information. It's very important to have, just as well as, you know, it's always good to have that connection as far as making your customers happy. If you know that your store or your vendor is selling, let's say, Hornets at $5 a piece, you want to sell them for $10 a piece, you find a buyer who wants to buy all three. Well, if you didn't have that vendor as a contact, you would now be struggling to look for these Hornets. Now, I'm not saying Hornets are extremely hard to find. However, in a pinch, you don't want to have to find them. You want to know where they are right off the bat. So if you can, make as many friends with as many vendors as possible. Get yourself learned on the actual dealings as a vendor if you actually want to become a vendor. Thanks, guys. Don't make those Thanks, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Subscribe, of course, for more Yu-Gi-Oh 101. And, of course, like the video just because you want to support the actual video and the making of these kind of videos. Thanks, guys.